Welcome back, everyone, to the study room. This is episode, who knows by now. Today, we have a very interesting guest brought to us by one of our students.
Thank you.
Shout out to Gaurav. So I want to leave it to Gaurav to introduce, exactly who's sitting here on the couch and how this connection came to be.
So, I was working a lot of places when I came here, and I started working in a company called Fitz Korea, and she was one of the colleagues there, and we started talking, about what we do for other things in life and this and that. And one day she told me she's a psychologist, and I was like, what are you doing here? What is this about? Why are you biking and why are you delivering couriers here? And this really surprised me. And I wanted to know more about her. And I told Rochelle about it. And we have a psychology business psychology course in our campus. So I think this would be a good idea to just talk to a psychologist and know what is it about, how is it actually to be a psychologist.
And then, can you just introduce yourself? Because he didn't say your name once in that all.
You know my name.
Do I?
This is a taste of friendship at this point.
This is a taste of friendship. Exactly.
There are not a lot of women at the Fitz Korea, so it's not a problem if you don't know my name because you will recognize me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will leave it on her to introduce herself.
Very gentlemanly.
My name is Gabrielle Frederiks,
Mm-hmm.
and I am a psychologist. That's right. But I'm not in any business involved or something. But psychology is always about influencing people, so it doesn't matter in what direction you do that, if it's business or not. But that's what I do now for 25 years, I think. And about 2.5 years ago, I quit my last job because I had, we have to work until 70 now in the Netherlands before you get your pension. And I was thinking I have to make a change now, not work 4 days as a psychologist until I'm that old, because I will not, that will not fit for so long. And also because of the circumstances in working as a psychologist for children in the Netherlands changed a lot the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. So I was thinking I have to do something else also. And then our planner, René, he used to deliver the parcels at our place when we would get some parcels from the Fitz Courier. And I was thinking that looks nice and relaxed. So I stopped working and I called Sietse. And I said, am I able to come and cycle at the Fitz Courier? And then he said, you come. And 2.5 years later, I'm still there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So you completely quit?
No, I started again. I stopped because I was thinking I can find some other job and see what to do, what fits better. But coming from one job into the next, I thought it was better to just quit totally. And ever since I started, I always wanted to be a doctor, but I was for 4 times I couldn't get into the school.
Yeah.
So I started first biology. It was not for me. I was half a year. I was in Spain during the.
That doesn't sound so bad.
No, that was really good, right? And then I started psychology, and then I got into it. It went from this to there, and it all just for 25 years. It just happened, and I didn't make any real choices, but it just happened in a way. And then I thought after 25 years now, I just stop and see what happens then. But I started cycling because I want to do something. Yeah. I also have a husband and 3 children, so being home all the time, that's not for me. So I went cycling, and I was thinking a lot when I was cycling all through Haarlem.
I can imagine.
And then I was thinking what will be there for the next 25 years. And I wanted to become a teacher. I had no experience at all. And then one evening, one of the guys I delivered a parcel to said it was raining really hard. And he said, "You are not just a fietscourier." And I was in this big crisis. What am I? And he said to me, "You are not just a fietscourier." And I was thinking, no, I'm not just a fietscourier. I'm also a psychologist. And then I knew I want to go back to work.
Wow, that sounds like a profound moment.
I still know where he lives. Yeah.
This random man has no idea the impact he had on your life in that moment.
It was a young couple.
Yeah.
And he came into the street and it was raining. He said, sorry, I'm late. It was a parcel from the Beversport. I still remember. And I said, no problem. I was just trying your neighbors. No problem. And then we had a talk and he said, it's really cold. You want to come in, have some tea? I said, no, I never get back on the bike if I go inside now. So, and then he just said, you're not just a fietscourier. I said, no, I'm also, I used to work as a psychologist. I work with very small children from minus 10 months up to 3-5 years. So I told him, and then he said to his girlfriend, "Oh, did you know that there were people like this? It must be really nice work then." And the rest of the evening I was thinking, oh yes, I have to get back there. Yeah.
That probably hit you then how much you missed it, or that
Yeah,
sense of
that's
purpose
what
it gave you.
I was also surprised about. Like, I didn't know there is a difference between a child psychologist and a adult psychologist. And when she explained it to me, I guess she would do it better. Like, what's the difference? And
Yeah, how would you describe the difference?
I think there is no difference, but I think a psychologist for adults will say that there is a difference. But I believe we are all still children.
Mm-hmm.
We always were. We were a child.
Yeah.
And in the way we work, we believe that in the first 3 years, you have then there you start living, and the most important things happen then. So also, if I see if I have a baby in the room, they cannot talk, but the parents can. And you just, that is, those two people are raising this child. So they are at least as important as the child that comes in with a problem.
Yeah.
So I talk to a lot of grown-ups, and they were also children. And the things we learn and we feel and we experience when we are really small, those are the biggest experience and the most important one.
Yeah, it's insane to think the things that happen to you in that first 3 years can have such a large impact later on. Yeah. Because that's I mean, from what I learn in psychology, that's you develop so fast, and everything you take on later in life, you learn language, you learn motor skills, you learn social cues, attachment styles, all of those things.
And you will never, it can change. Even we know now that it involves your DNA, and it's like a switch. I don't know exactly how it goes, but it's like a switch. Those early experiences can turn it on or off. And in a way you can, during your development, if you can, I think you can turn it the other way around. Yeah. But in no time in your life you will, literally grow as much on the outside and learn as many skills as you will ever do. And if you imagine your brain, they have they make a lot of new
pathways.
Neural pathways. Yeah.
And they say if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is really important that you get a good education there. You have loving people that care for you, because you know that if people are reliable, and if you are important enough to care for, it's so important. So that's why we are in the prison here. I started my internship. There were just 2 boxes left, 2 places where I could go.
Wow.
And one of them was in, it's for young people between 12 and 22.
Okay, so like a juvenile.
Yeah. And that was one of them, and I thought, oh, that looks nice. So I just went there. Mm-hmm. And ever since, they were just really old compared to what I do now. And they were in huge problems, because otherwise they wouldn't be there. So during the time, I just went down in age. with every spot I worked, and it's now I'm almost just behind the front door because the problems are still small in the lives of the children. So that's good. That's a nice. But those guys in prison never had some help when they were small. So
No, of course not. Otherwise, they wouldn't end up
No, probably not.
where they were.
No.
So was it difficult to understand a kid more than a adult? Like, is it different process to understand a kid what he wants and what's his problems are?
At first, I thought it was really much harder. But when you learn, for my it's called infant mental health. What I'm doing, and I went to school for that also, just 5 years ago now. And then I had 40 or 45 hours that I had to go someone's home, and I just had to look at the baby. I wasn't allowed to talk. I just had to sit on the couch and look at the baby. So after 40, 45 hours, I know now
How a baby
how a
hears.
baby how a baby talks.
Like communicates, yeah.
He shows you. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, they say as a mother, you know what a different cry means, like when they're hungry, when they want to sleep, when they're not happy, when they're angry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but you only know if someone learned you how to communicate in that way.
yeah,
Because if no one listened to you when you were small, then you don't know. Yeah, it's really it's more complex than I tell you now. But
of course.
if no one listened to you when you were small, then you don't even know that is a possibility. So everything you will hear from your own child will sound different because you don't know that option. So sometimes it sounds, for some mothers and fathers, it sounds like the child is angry when he cries because you and I would think it's hungry.
Yeah.
But they will feel like it's against me. They don't like me because that's what they learned in their early years.
Yeah.
So not all communication. It's when you have a bad day and you meet someone in the street that will just bump into you. Your reaction will be different than when you are really you had a couple of beers and you feel relaxed and you have a nice evening and someone bump into you will say, oh, no problem. But if you have a bad mood, then it will be a problem.
Yeah.
So that's a bit how you can imagine how it would be if you think your child looks at you in not a good, nice way.
How do you, because you deal with the children and obviously parents as well, right?
Yeah.
So when you see that kind of an issue, how do you approach it?
I mean,
Like,
what's
how do
the
you?
process?
Because sometimes I feel like parents will come. You can tell me because you're the one with experience here. But if a child is having an issue, sometimes I feel like they isolate the problem is it's with the child, so they don't always recognize that it comes from them as well. So how do you approach that kind of situation?
In the way we work, it's not the child that is our client or our patient or the parents, it's their relationship.
Okay.
So it's always what happens between two people. Because I can like you at the Fietscourier and I can think you are a nice colleague, but maybe there are other people that don't have the same relationship. Or maybe the other way around, you think, oh, that's a nice colleague, and some other person will think, oh, I don't want to work with her. So you will know people that other people say, that's a nice person, and you think, oh, I don't know why, but okay, you may think that, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
So that's how we look at it.
Okay.
And that is, and then the next step is, what can we do to get this relationship one step further into having it good enough? What do they need? What do we think they need? And what do they... And we always ask the parents, what do you think is wrong? What happened? Especially what happened. What happened to you? Why? What brought you here?
Do you always get a good response to that?
It's always good because it's their response. And so if their story is always good, because that's what we are working with. And it's not only the story that they tell in words, and that may, because of that, it might just be easier to work with children because they never really the small ones, they will never give you a answer because they think you want to hear it. And that's with the parents, that's different.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Children are
Blunt.
brutally honest.
Blunt.
Yeah. And especially those really small ones, if a baby needs to cry, it will cry.
Yeah, they just communicate their needs, and then
Yeah.
how it's interpreted is
Yeah.
up to the parents.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's so it's always good. The answer is always good. It doesn't mean that sometimes it's really hard work to find out what do they need, what can I do.
Yeah.
But usually we do that together. Sometimes people are sent over to us, and they don't know quite what to expect or what to ask, or they never learn to ask for anything for themselves. So then we go and see what would be a nice change in their life. What would they wish?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good to be also on the bike 2 nights a week.
That
Yeah.
helps you, I
That-
think,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like it because it's just when I have the day doing this and I come on a Friday evening, I never want to cycle in the evening. In the morning, I think, oh, why? But then I come and I put those packages into my bike and I just go. And then after the evening, it's all gone. Not
That's-
only the packages, it's all gone.
It sounds so nice because I know he's the same. Like when he's going there and he has a shift there, he's like, I'm going. It's going to be so good. And then he comes back and he's like, that was so great.
Happy. That's why I love working there. It's like a refreshment after a heavy day. Whatever happens, like you go there on your bike and you're just
I
You're
think
just
it's
happy.
about 3 times a year that I get more annoyed when after cycling than before. But it's most of the time it's like you say.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
And I can be really working with the children and their parents. I can really be happy also, or I can feel like we made a success or something. But it's so much more complex than delivering the parcels. Not that it's an easy job. Don't misunderstand.
Oh, of
Never
course
an
not.
easy job.
Absolutely
You know
not
the
an
Netherlands
easy
weather,
job.
so
It's not. I just told him last night. I delivered a parcel to. He was a bit older than me, the guy, and he said, "Oh, you came on a bike?" I said, "Yes." "Oh, yeah, nice." And do you have a real job?
I'm like, this is my job.
That's
This
the
is
Dutch
actually what
honesty
I
for
do
you.
for a living.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was thinking, how dare you ask me this?
How did you respond?
I said I had also another job, and I said I was working as a psychologist. Oh, my wife is also, and then he. So I said, yeah, have a nice evening.
So there
Okay.
are few good ones and there are
Yeah,
few
of course,
few
but
bad.
that's
Yeah.
Of
always.
course.
But
Someone
most-
changes your life, someone changes like your mood. So
Yeah.
it's like
That's a very nice way of putting it.
Oh, we should do that as a slogan.
yeah.
So-
yeah.
Some change your life, some change your mood.
Oh, no, it is. And I also applied for some jobs teaching.
Yeah.
So it's for other psychologists or how do you say it? You have a university and you have more the applied.
Oh, like a college or
Applied science.
Yeah, but also after.
it's more like in Afrikaans we would say like a technische school. You know, like where you learn more the.
We call it hoger beroepsonderwijs, HBO, geschoold.
Oh, like HBO. Okay, yeah.
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 So they already finished that education, but then
Okay.
they come for some more.
Okay.
So that's and that is nice because I never did that. But my mother is a teacher, her sister is a teacher. Both my grandma and my grandpa were head of the school, so a really long time ago.
Yeah.
So now I do also what everybody does in the family. I also teach. So that's.
Don't you want to come here for a guest lecture?
Yeah, what can I tell you? You have such a different. I would like to, but what do you?
I mean, child psychology is always going to be relevant. Like you said, it's not. There's not really a difference between children and adults. So I definitely think there's something you can teach us.
And I have to talk English.
Yes.
Yeah. Eh?
I mean, you can teach them Dutch. Just like
My mother used to.
just
teach
like
Dutch
Really?
language, yes.
Okay.
She always took me. We had a lot of those immigrants to work,
Yeah.
and then I went to her. I went with her when those ladies had their birthday or something. I was really small, And then I would go there. I couldn't understand anyone, but yeah, she was a Dutch teacher for foreigners. Yeah. So we always had a lot of nice food in the house.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
I
What
could
was your
imagine.
favorite?
I really liked I don't know how it's called. It's you can buy it at a Turkish bakery. Not the baklava, but it's with some sugar, I think. I don't
With
know.
sugar around it?
I don't know.
Okay.
But
But
I
a
don't like
Turkish
it
dessert.
anymore. Yeah. I
Okay.
don't like it anymore, but it was then I really liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you think I can help in any way, you just
Of course.
text me again.
Yeah. No, I think we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be really nice.
Okay.
Consider
it's
it
not.
done.
It's really not a difference.
No.
No, because always we have some adult way, the way we learn to react.
Mm.
But if we meet someone that's not nice to us or really nice, because that's also a big emotion. If someone is really nice, if you really like someone else, but also in the negative way,
Yeah.
then most of the time you react as a child. It's not your normal thinking, wise part that reacts.
But is children are more like emotionally like expressive than adults? Like, do you find that?
Yeah, you just go and watch the children play in a playground. They will hit you if you take their bicycle. If I take the groene fiets at the fietscourier and you will like it, you will not hit me to get me off the bike anymore because you learned
Yeah.
that that's not
Yeah.
okay.
You might be upset inside, but
Yeah.
you won't necessarily say anything.
Of course.
Children are
Yeah.
not as
And there's not that filter, I think. And if we are really angry, we cannot keep it in anymore. You will just go and you will say, "Oh, why you always take the green bike? Who do you think you are?" And then you don't respond as an adult anymore, or maybe you do. I think it's really wise to respond in that way sometimes, but it is different.
It still has its place.
Yeah.
We have one of our lecturers in business psychology. She did behavioral psychology or clinical psychology. But she is 74, Christine from New York. And she always has this thing of saying like, you are 5 years old and 82 at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you have that in you, and the way you respond sometimes is determined by the situation. But just because you're no longer 5 years old doesn't mean you don't still have that 5-year-old
No,
inside of you.
That's right, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that ties in with what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't matter how old you are, there are going to be times that you still respond like a child.
Yeah. And especially it usually works out better if you have, like in a business relation, you feel very comfortable. If you feel like you have the skills, then it's easier to act like an adult. But in your more intimate relationships, you are more vulnerable, and it's more important how the other person feels about you, not only about what you can or cannot do, but especially about how you are. And then you will be more, your child part, your 5-year-old part will be more active and more touched than when you do something
in a business.
In a way that it is not so personal.
Yeah. Because I think in a business setting you separate. It's like there's a certain distance from you. It's more achievement or skill set rather than, your personal qualities as a person.
Yeah. It's more clear what is expected from you. It's like you have a description of your function, and if you feel comfortable and you can do that, then you are okay. But being someone's partner or being someone's daughter, it's not by a description that says, if you do it like this, then it's good enough, or then it's okay.
Yeah.
And we also have a mother and a father and a sister and a brother that also miss that description.
Yeah.
So you never know what people are insecure or secure about, in what relationship, for what reason. So that makes it interesting. But that's why a lot of people do really well in business or in work, but in a private situation, it can be a lot different.
Yeah, that's something to think about. I never really think about it like that. I don't know about you.
I mean,
You're very quiet.
people think logical in a business setting, I guess. That's where
Yeah.
they shut down
better
their
rules.
yeah.
Yeah.
They shut down their emotions more and bring out the logical part of it. So
Mhm.
it's like I think it like that.
Hmm.
So
But I feel like in a business setting, especially more the newer generation of businesses, smaller companies,
Mhm.
it's not necessarily that logical or impersonal anymore.
No.
Like the business is changing.
It's becoming more integrated. You can also be a good businessman, and you can also be more of yourself now, or
Exactly.
businesswoman, business person. Very inclusive. Be a really good business person.
I mean, people are being more aware of it now, I guess. People are being more like intrusive about okay how my general setting is about like how people are feeling in my company now. People were not really aware of it before, I guess.
I think people
Comparatively.
tolerate it a lot
Yeah,
more,
yeah,
especially in
yeah.
unhealthy business settings when it was just about achievement. Whereas now, I mean, with every generation, you want to surpass where the previous one was.
Mhm.
Where I feel like the previous generation was, get your degree, get a good job, be financially stable. This generation, like, okay, I want financial stability, but I also want more than that.
Yeah.
I want a good, healthy environment. I don't want to be.
No, and the money and the good job is losing from I have to feel good myself.
Exactly.
I have
Yeah,
to have free
exactly.
time. I have to feel comfortable in my job. I have to feel that I can develop myself
Yeah.
during work. It really is different now. But it's also probably because of the situation. It's not easy now anymore to get a job and work there for 20 years or 30 years
Hmm.
and get financial stability and a home. So we have to, uh, the younger people have to find some other things that are important now, because getting a house, I don't have to tell you, or somewhere to live, it's not
Yeah.
as easy anymore.
No, it's not.
So you have to find some joy and luck and feel happy about other things now.
How is that? I mean, you.
I'm 100 years old, yes.
No. Putting words in my No, because you had that. I mean, at that point, I don't know how long you were working for when you decided, okay, I'm going to quit my job and
Yeah.
look for something else.
Yeah.
What made you get to that point? Like, okay, I need to get something different. What triggered that for you?
I was working for over 13 years at the same company.
Okay.
And then I changed.
Mm-hmm.
And then for over 2 years, I worked at a different organization. But I was not really. It was not really for me the best place to work. I did not really fit
Yeah.
in a way that I felt happy about my work.
Okay.
And at the same time, yeah. We had the corona.
Oh yes,
whole
of
corona
course.
situation. I think that also helped. Of seeing more quickly that it didn't fit anymore.
Okay.
And at first I tried to do my work the way I thought I had to do it to be happy about it. And it didn't work. And then I thought I have to find a new job.
Okay.
And then I was looking everywhere. And in a way, I was thinking I always went from this job to that place to a different place in the organization to work, and it all just happened like I told you before. And now I thought I don't want to look what will happen. I will just make a clean cut here now and see what comes then. Because I was always working, I was always being a mother, I was always doing this. So I thought I will just quit all now.
That couldn't have been easy.
I think it was. It took. Yeah.
It was a build up to the point that you had to accept.
And what really helped was my. How do you say it? not my grandma, but not my grandpa, but his sister. She was the
Oh, like your great aunt.
yes. She had no children.
Mm?
She was always like a grandma for us, and she died, and she left us some money.
Okay.
So that made it also easy to make the on a financial base to make the decision to quit working for a while.
Okay.
So all the things together, I think.
It was
Yeah.
a build up.
Yeah.
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 And build.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's
then
like, okay.
as a woman, you come in a certain age, some point in your life, and it will make you look. And my children were a lot older, so you are more independent, and you get to look around and not just go all day every day. So
Yeah.
maybe that also helped or made it happen.
But as a psychologist, is it helpful for you to listen to others' people problem and solve yours, or it builds you? It like builds up on you.
Both. In the beginning, it just came in, and it had nowhere to go out.
Yeah.
That was, and then every 3 months I was sick for a week, and I always saw it coming. That was really hard. But then I learned to, I don't know how, but it went. Or maybe because I got children, there are other things important, so it was easier to let it go.
Mm.
But then now, if you would ask me now, I would say it really helps me to. I learn a lot from the people that come. It's I see so much happening, and now I work in a way that what I see, I will get inside. I think about it, feel about it before I give a reaction,
Mm-hmm.
and that also tells me so much about how I feel, what my first reaction would be, and that's not always what the client needs. So
Yes.
it really slowed me down. I was really always a very quick person, thinking quick, talking quick, having my opinion really quick.
Yeah.
I can still do that. I didn't lose that, but there's also another. It changed. You were thinking, Yeah, no, it changed also. It became much slower. I'm thinking more and I'm feeling more. So I learn a lot of them. Yeah. Sometimes I do think about some family, but that's not. It doesn't scare me anymore because there are people that are more in your mind, also in your personal life.
Especially you were talking about Indian grandmoms, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it comes
He
from
told me about the Indian grandmothers. I think you might have to fill our audience in on what the story is with Indian grandmothers.
He was talking about the ducks yesterday. The liver from the
duck
ducks.
liver.
He
Oh.
really liked it.
Oh, foie gras, yeah.
So I told him how they feed the ducks.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't understand me right away. So I said, it's like an Indian grandma will put food in your
Yeah.
mouth, even though you don't want it, or you don't need it, or you can't even eat it anymore. It's just, that's how they feed the ducks also.
Yeah.
It's no good. You should not eat it. No, but I learn a lot of them. But that's more, now I'm older and more experienced. I can feel that as well now.
Mm.
But in the beginning, I was really trying to do everything they teach me. I have to do it the right way. But now I think they need help, and they are the people that can tell me what I should do. It's not the other way around anymore.
Yeah.
So that really makes it more, I feel more at ease now.
But that's something I wanted to ask you, because obviously I did at least a little bit of research about
Mhm.
you.
Okay.
No, but
Stalking you.
you work with a lot of like multicultural families, right? And how have you seen the relationships between multiculturalism, like how that works? You know, how it works really well, and sometimes where some problem areas can be,
Mhm.
because even like in a business setting and in general, the world's become so multicultural
Yeah.
and everything is blending. So I was just curious how you experience it with your work.
There's a lot of attention for it in the last years.
Mhm.
And I believe that it's the most important thing is to ask and listen to each other. And like for instance, you have to take your shoes off when you go to Turkish people, and they told you 15, 20 years ago, they say, you always have to take your shoes off.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, in other cultures where it's important to take your shoes off, they just want to be like the Dutch people, and you almost insult them when you start taking off your shoes when you visit their home. So
Okay.
just a simple thing, just ask, would you like me to take off my shoes, or shall I take off my shoes?
Mm.
That's a really simple example, but I believe that that is what you have to do. And you have to ask questions. Am I right? Is it that you feel like? But that's also with people from the same culture.
Mm.
It's already a cultural difference that they are to visit a psychologist. If they don't, if someone sent them, that's also a different culture. I speak
Yeah.
a very different language than they do. And they never thought about coming to a psychologist. So it's just, you just have to be open, you have to watch, you have to talk, you have to ask, you have to listen. And it can be more difficult if you are from a different background. And also words, but that is also in Dutch. When I say a Dutch word, not every other Dutch person will hear the same. And what would I mean by saying this word? And what do you hear when I say this word? And then it goes in, and it goes here, and it goes out, and then we are we still saying the same? I don't know. But you have to check every time. And especially the non-verbal, you say it in English also?
Yes.
Language, that is most important. If you see that someone is moving around all the time, or is looking at the clock all the time, or is, I don't know, not looking at you, that's also a cultural difference.
Yeah, that is a cultural difference.
Making eye contact, you just have to ask it, I think.
No, I think that's a good way, because you forget people have their own interpretations regardless of where they come from. Like, your reality is not the same as my reality.
Of course. Even
Yeah.
the body language is completely different in different part of the world.
Exactly.
Like, we have some head signs, like doing this, doing that.
Going like this.
Coming like
That also makes a difference. So it's not, and it's impossible to learn all those different
of course.
things. That's not, no. I think you just have to be, careful is not the right word, but maybe also careful in a nice way with each other.
Yeah, like respectful, cautious.
Yeah.
Don't make assumptions.
No, and if you do, I also learned by the years that if I do something wrong, or I did something that someone didn't like, or I hurt someone, I can always ask, did that happen, and say I'm sorry. And I also invite people to tell me if it wasn't okay what I did in one way or another.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I had a family, and they asked me a few weeks ago, they said, we don't mean it in not a nice way, but what are we doing here every week? So at first I was just like, I'm working really hard. And I said, yeah, you're right. That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And then in a way, I also lost the, in a way, the connection with them, because we made a plan, but then there were all kind of circumstances. We had a change of plans, or I had a change of plan, and I thought I told them that we had a change of plans, but not good enough.
Okay.
So it was really good. But first, of course, I said, I was thinking, what do you mean? What am I doing?
What are we doing here?
I'm doing the best I can. But then I thought, then it just goes in, and I go, I had a big storm inside. And then I say, no, that's what do you mean? No, that's a good question. And then I didn't inform them enough about the change of plans. So I explained why it became a different plan. And then they said, oh, okay. Yeah, so feel welcome to say what you want to say.
Yeah. I mean, I think our generation is working more towards that, where if you have something you want to say, as long as you say it in a respectful way, People are
communicate.
usually
Yeah.
open to listening to you. Not
Mhm.
always, 'cause I mean, it's still a work
People
in progress.
have tendency
but-
to. But communication is always better, yeah.
But that was also my first reaction. It is not okay what they are saying. Why are they questioning my work? But that
Yeah.
was not the way. That was the way I think the child in me heard the question.
Yes.
But it was not my adult version knew. Oh, this is a really good question because we are not able to work together if we are not working on the same page.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in the second or maybe the third, I think, oh no, this is a really good question. Yes.
You just had to process it for a moment.
Yeah. But that's nice about the fietscourier. We hardly process anything there.
There you just shut
Only
your mind.
processing is parcels.
Yeah.
No, that's nice because in a way, and also the people at the door. Working as a psychologist, every relationship is important, and what you say, how you look, how you don't look, it can all be of importance. But
Oh, yes. Of course.
delivering those parcels, it's not. If you
Yeah.
make a mess out of it at one address, then you have a second chance on the next address. So that's
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I guess it feels like, I don't want to say less pressure, but
it's big pressure. You feel pressure?
time-wise.
Not so much, but yeah.
I'm just thinking in comparison with like working with a family and relationships, the amount of pressure
Mhm.
and personal responsibility. I don't know, that sense of personal responsibility you feel compared to.
That was a good. But I
Yeah.
didn't quit really. And about I was working I think 4 or 5 months at the fietscourier,
Yeah.
and I had a date with some colleagues from all other organizations.
Oh, yes.
And one of them asked me, so how is it with the pressure at work? And do you still feel responsibility? And all the things you mention now. And I said, yeah, in a way, I still feel it. But it's, I said, I'm working on it. And then she said, oh, then I don't quit my job yet. I will just wait. Because if you still have it at the fietscourier, then it is in you and not the work. And I said, I think that's right. But I learned a lot, saying no, to learn better my boundaries. And
Of course.
yeah, and it's also because it's a physical job. If the bike is really full,
Yeah.
then I'm not able to, I cannot ride as many parcels as you because you are stronger than me. So I had to say no. But that was really my responsibility, told me, you have to deliver all the parcels that are on your list.
Yes.
But if it's physical not possible, then it's my responsibility to say no.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of different voices inside, but I think I learned a lot also about boundaries in all my other jobs.
So
Yeah.
what kind of advice would you give then on setting good boundaries for yourself? Like what's one of the biggest things you've learned?
Yeah, you really have to take a moment and think if it's okay for if it's okay for me. Is it really okay for me? And if it's not, then I try to sort out what is not okay. And if I have to change it now, or if I can try, or because I also did some things that in the first I thought this is not okay, cycling in the snow, for instance. But now I more often think I will try and I will see. So that's also the other way. So just feel if it's okay or not, and also be more aware of what is not okay or might not be okay, and to see if you have to say no, or maybe you can give it a try.
Yeah, I think it's what you mentioned now with before you were like cycling in the snow is a hard no. And now you're like, okay, I'll give it a try.
Give it a try.
Sometimes people forget that boundaries can change. It's not set in stone necessarily. It's just for you to be comfortable. And when you expand as a person, then obviously you can you change your boundaries.
Yeah. And if you learn to cross a boundary every now and then, and even if it's not a success, you get more familiar with the process of just going out of your comfort zone a bit, or just feel really comfortable staying in it. That's also a good decision, but it makes me more, it gives me more possibilities now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always good.
Yeah.
You're so quiet. I just see the head.
He knows everything. He knows everything.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know we talk a lot,
His
but
infinite wisdom.
I haven't talk these things to her yet. So these things are new for me also. I'm trying to process. Okay. I never thought it like that. Okay,
Yeah.
now I'm like, yeah, things are connected here and there.
Yeah.
Like there is psychology behind delivering parcels as well.
Of course.
I'm like,
It's psychology. It's also with the word cycle.
Psych.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we take the, I'm the psychologist.
That's sweet.
I cycle a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm just thinking about the motto, some change your life, some change your mood. That's going to stick with me for a long time. But did you start as a behavioral psychologist or no?
Never. I went in the more than the normal development. That
Okay.
yeah, it was development psychology, I
Mhm.
think, and that was not for me. So I quit my study then, and I went to Australia for a year, and then I have a history of. I realize now, yeah. And then I started again as what was it? Clinical psychologist, child psychologist.
Okay.
Yeah, so I graduated in that field.
From
It's stuck.
Australia?
No, I came back. That
Okay.
was the one thing I had to promise my parents. It was okay by them that I quit for a year and go to Australia, but I had to make the promise that I will come back and finish.
A degree.
A degree.
So I did.
What did you do in Australia for a year?
I was a fietscourier. No, I was picking fruit. Just also the same, about the same job what I did.
Yeah.
And I got my own van to. So a lot of people from the hostel. I got the van to drive them towards work. So I also with the responsibility. So that's also rode draad. I don't know how you say it in English.
Like a winding road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I picked fruit. I worked as a au pair also,
Mm-hmm.
and I cleaned the hostel. At the moment I had no money at all, so I had to clean to live
Yeah.
bed every day, things like that.
Okay.
And I traveled also, so I made money and then.
So more like exploring yourself. And
Yeah.
yesterday she was talking about going to Caribbeans, and it was like
We're sharing all her plans now.
Only you and Wies know.
okay.
I can cut that part out so the rest of the world doesn't know too.
Don't let my family know yet.
Okay.
Okay, they don't know about the plan. I didn't know that. Sorry.
Spilling secrets.
Spilling the beans now.
No, but when you were in Australia, did you already kind of figure out what you wanted to do when you get back? Or did you just focus on living in the moment and you sorted that out once you arrived back here?
I don't think I had to think about what I would do because I made that promise. So that when I came back, it was all clear what I would do. I would go back to school and finish.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so. Now I have 3 children, and the middle one, a son, he's in Austria for the whole winter, learning people how to ski.
Yeah.
And so he also has the money problem because he spends a lot more than he and then sometimes comes in, and then he had to pay his insurance as well and to stay at the house. But that was the most important thing that I learned in Australia, that I was responsible for my bed and my food every day. And I think that was so basic that there was no other way than to live in here and now, because I had to arrange that every day.
Yeah.
And that was really, and now I know, no matter what, that I can do that. So that was really, I think that was the most important thing I learned over there.
Yeah, you got that confidence in yourself that you can take care of whatever needs to
So
be
I
done.
even walked with a sandwich board outside for the...
Really?
Yeah.
For
Wow.
discounts.
You are a woman of many talents.
I don't know exactly if that was my talent, but then one day all the money is gone. And then I stayed at a hostel that had an uitzendbureau, arbeidsbureau, you know, where you can...
Yeah, like a labor office. Or
Yeah. So they had all kinds of jobs for backpackers.
Okay.
So that was the most. That was the one that you had to have no experience or any skills.
Mhm.
So
You just had to show up.
Just be a
That was
billboard.
yeah. And I thought, why do I care? No one knows me here. So
Yeah.
I'll just go. Yeah. And then the next week, I got into a car with a guy I didn't know.
Mm.
Drive about 1 hour from Brisbane to his family to stay there for the next 2 months. So
And that worked out.
Hmm?
It was okay. It was a good.
okay. But I
Okay.
was thinking, I was thinking
Where is
about
she
my
going?
parents, and if they only knew that on a Friday evening at 7 o'clock after the Friday night
Yeah.
drinks, I stepped in a car with a guy in a Ford Falcon. I don't know where we were going.
Yeah.
I didn't know the guy. I just talked to his wife over the phone, and she said, "No, it's okay. You can come."
Wow.
If my daughter would do that,
Oh,
I
you
just
would-
didn't want to know. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
No.
Are any of your kids like following in your footsteps or the family footsteps? No,
Not yet.
not yet.
No, maybe because in my father's family, there are a lot of bakers,
Oh,
and now my oldest daughter, she's learning how to be a baker. So that maybe that's you
Okay.
just yeah.
wow.
Not
That's
in my
great.
footsteps, but in the family.
In the
footsteps.
family
Yes,
footsteps.
yes.
So your parents have a baker and a teacher.
Yeah. Now, but the baker is not just it should be more financial if we go right straight
Okay.
up. My father had his own business.
Yeah.
And his father was a lot of financial things. But then a little bit further away, they had
Yeah.
a big bakery
Big
in,
bake. Okay.
in the north of Holland.
Okay.
And people who come from there, they know, they say,
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what she's doing now. And the other one is still in the high school.
Okay, so
So
not
she's
sure
not-
yet.
No.
Who knows?
I don't think anyone wants to be a psychologist.
It's not meant for everyone.
Maybe that will motivate them to just. I will just say no, it's not meant for anyone. No. You don't go there.
Reverse
It's not meant
psychology
for
then.
everyone, no.
Oh, then it's like, I'll show you
Yeah,
I can
I'll
do
show-
it.
You're not
Press
as
the
good as
right
I am.
button.
It's not meant for everyone. That sounds really different. That was not how you meant it, right?
this is like reverse psychology. You're not the smart one, sorry.
My
They're
mom
like,
always,
"What?"
once I told her about reverse psychology, she's like, you use it on me all the time.
Yeah.
So now I have to be very careful how I speak around her.
But it is more important now that everything you want, you make it look like she was the one thinking about it.
Yeah, but at least now I don't have to.
But using it in business,
Mm.
oh,
Sometimes, not on big things.
I hope so.
It's usually when you have an idea that you think might take a while for people to get around to, but you know it's a
Yeah.
good idea. Sometimes you just need to make them think it's their idea, and then
Mhm.
they're like, "This is fantastic," because then they really push it.
Something provocative.
Yeah.
Like provocative. But now it's like more like community building. Most of the business is like that. Like
yeah.
Fitz Courier is like that. It's more like a cyclist community.
Yeah.
But I don't think you need to use any reverse psychology. Do you?
If we have a parcel and the people are not at home and you go by the neighbors
Yeah.
and they open the door and they look like, oh no, there's another bezorger and it's always for the neighbors.
Yeah.
The first thing I say, hi, ik kom van de fietscourier. I have a parcel for your neighbors and they're not at home. Maybe you can take it, but if you don't want it, I'm fine. And then they think, oh, she's fine if I don't take it. Then I'll take it. It works.
Good for you.
It works every time. I say, no, of course it's okay if you don't take it. No,
Next-
I completely understand.
Next
No,
time
no
I'll
problem.
use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll use it next time.
Now
and
you're
I'm
teaching him
always
tricks
like,
now.
why people are not taking my parcels? What's wrong with this?
No, but then, and it's also that you say to them that it's okay if they don't want it. And I really mean it.
Yeah.
It's okay if they don't want it.
Yeah,
It's not
because
a
then they
problem.
don't feel like obliged. They're
Yeah.
not doing it out of obligation.
So they do feel more like it is their choice to take it.
Yeah.
I have a really high percentage of delivering the parcels.
I can tell.
But I think it also makes a difference that I'm a woman.
Oh yeah.
When I
No, I
Sure.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when
think so.
ring the door, people are a lot of time they are surprised,
Mm.
and I think they feel sorry for me if they don't take it, and they probably feel more sorry for me than for you.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
possible.
course.
Of course.
He's just like, no
They don't
doubt
care
about it.
about me.
Absolutely.
They don't care about me. They're like, who's this guy with the parcel?
I do think it makes a difference. You wear a helmet?
No.
No, but you should, because they also feel sorry for you that you came by bike.
Oh.
Yeah, they think you are just a van delivery guy. You
Oh.
should wear the helmet.
Yeah, sometimes people ask me, where's your van? I'm like, I don't have one.
No, but if you wear the helmet, they know directly.
You need to learn from her. She's teaching
Exactly.
you all the good things.
You
She
have
has
to wear
a lot
those
of
biker
tricks.
pants. Yeah.
She has
I
a lot
don't
of
do it.
tricks. She thinks before she does anything now.
I
Now I'm
learned
all-
during the process.
Yeah.
But the helmet also helps. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
psychologically it affects them.
Yeah.
They notice it without noticing it.
Yeah. But maybe I don't even know anymore that I am also a psychologist in private. And also when I'm a fietscourier.
You forget?
Yeah, but maybe it's just so, it's such a way
Into
of
you.
living now.
Mm.
And you say it's not for everyone. I think you have to have some skills already in a natural way.
Mm.
So I don't know if all the things I learn, I just maybe use them in a way I don't even know.
I've realized that, I mean, we've had a conversation. We like to have conversations like this, the two of us. But I've had an interest in psychology for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time. And I have, I think, a natural skill set with people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes without noticing, I'll do something and it works out really well. When I communicate with people, like I can read people. And then it's only afterwards when we have a conversation about something and I think about it, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so that's why. And then I can pinpoint certain things that affected it. And not everyone functions that way.
But it's just built into you. So you learn it that way.
But I mean, you can always build on top of that. But you have to be interested in it.
Yeah.
For me, psychology is something, it has to be a passion.
You have to work on it.
Because it's not always very self-serving.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a
No.
time where it was probably not great for you.
So and that is, I think, maybe the skill you are talking about is that you can do more things at the same time when you are in contact with someone else.
Mm.
You can listen to your internal process. You can focus on the conversation or at the communication, and you can make the link between them, and then also use it to make a next step or something.
Yeah.
But you have to have some interest in other people and why they do what they do or why they feel like they do. And you don't have to make it all personal, because then
Of course.
you get a lot of then it will hit your child part probably.
Mm.
But yeah, there must be some things going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was curious about something. You started with development psychology,
Mm-hmm.
and you said you didn't like it. That's why you...
It was too normal. They were
Too normal?
Yeah.
What about it was too normal for you?
It was about children that had a normal development. That was what I understood of it.
Okay.
But I was not so focused at the time.
Like, this is a bit too boring
So-
for me.
It's more about
Yeah.
personality development thing?
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
It's like if everything goes well, or just a normal state of development, not...
Okay. So you don't consult anyone. You just...
Yeah, but it's I don't even know what it's about, but I thought it was too normal.
Okay.
I wanted
Some
to
challenges.
have the children that had, they didn't walk the most
average
normal
path.
average. No, that I wanted the other children.
I mean, I guess it's like people that think normal psychology, psychology for general
General,
public
Yeah.
versus people that maybe go into more criminal psychology, you know? you don't focus on the general public, you focus on the people that are
Yeah.
functioning a little bit differently.
I also teach the people that work in the first. If there's something wrong with your child, or it's not going like wrong is not a good word. If it then there are some questions,
Yeah.
you go in Haarlem. You go to het CJG, Centrum voor Jeugd en Gezin.
Okay.
Which is the first after the general practitioner that you can ask for help.
Okay.
And we have it also in Amsterdam, and I teach them not just the basics of the development of young children.
Hmm.
And I don't know why I'm telling you this anymore.
You don't need to have a reason. You can just tell me.
Yeah, but I don't know that this
There was a
it.
point?
That there was a point coming after this little part of explanation.
I mean, we were talking about.
You take this part out also.
Yeah, of course.
No, we were talking about
the difference from just normal psycho.
Yeah, and there is some
Yeah.
e-learning involved as well.
Okay.
And it is about what you can expect in a normal development.
Yeah.
And I didn't pass the test, so this was to let you see that if you just focus on the development where there are questions,
Mm.
I don't have enough knowledge anymore
Okay.
about, especially now that my children are not small children anymore. So when I took them to preschool or to the when they were smaller, I met a lot of children that were developing well, the small ones, but now I don't anymore. But
Okay.
it's not important anymore, because if you have a child that develops in a normal way, like average, but you have a mother that is really concerned,
Mm.
then there's also something to ask questions about, or if you need help then as a mother, if you worry a lot.
Yeah.
It's not that we look at the child and say, oh no, your child is doing well, so your concerns don't matter. That's not the way.
So, do you also have children that maybe struggle with learning difficulties?
They're too small. Yeah, they have in a like not walking or not learning how to eat, or
Okay.
as a small child, everything is so connected to everything. If you don't see well, then you will move with much less confidence. So you will not be able to go into the playground and climb on the swing, because it's frightening you because you cannot see.
Okay.
And if you cannot hear, then it's really difficult to learn how to talk.
Mm.
And then it's really difficult to have knowledge of a lot of words. So it's really difficult to understand the world when it's get bigger and bigger. So,
Yeah.
and if you don't eat, you don't have enough energy. So you cannot walk, you cannot play. And walking is learning, playing is learning. So all those things, we look at the whole package when we see a child. So we ask, are there any medical, is there medical history, or is something medical going on now?
Yeah.
How does the child and the family feel about it? How much it involves the family? Are there other problems, maybe housing problems or financial problems, or is one of the parents maybe has a mental illness or any difficulty? So we don't see the child, we just look at the child, but we see everything around it, and then we decide what needs to change first to give this child and these parents a better life.
That makes me want to ask you a question.
Like you didn't ask me any
Any
question
questions?
before.
No, but it's something that's always asked in psychology. You get this a lot, where you ask the question, nature versus nurture. Like, is it a child's nature, or is it how they nurture? Because you're talking about, you don't just look at the child, you look at what's around them. So like the environment, what's nurturing them. So what is your opinion on?
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But you don't think one is stronger than the other?
No. Because if I got it right, then the DNA with the switch that turns on or off, it is still, if you see that as nature.
Yeah.
But then through nurture,
You can
pull the switch the other way. So
yeah, that's true. It's a balancing act, I guess.
maybe if it was so easy, they tried, it didn't work. And we have those children in those orphanages that have perfect nurture, and they didn't have any problem in their nature. They still died because they didn't get emotional attention. So then we can just let go of the whole nature nurture discussion, because there is something else that is really, it also nurture, but
Yeah.
so how can you die if you are physically okay?
That just shows the large impact that emotional well-being can
Mhm.
have on you. It's intense.
I do believe maybe in your psychology world, it is also, that also plays a big role when you are an adult.
Oh,
Or
absolutely.
if you want to sell something to someone, or you want to make people happy, or it's also really important.
I mean, something we are covering right now is, I think his surname was Ottoman or something. I'm not sure, but it's the U shape. So people a lot, when you, especially in business, you'll find people that are, we say, closed mind, closed heart, and a closed will. And you need to be able to take someone and talk to them and cultivate kind of an environment and an atmosphere that changes them from being closed to open. And I feel like that's an important part of, you need to learn how to cultivate that. Because it's not just for relationships and business, it's also really important. Otherwise,
Everywhere.
you're not going to get anywhere.
No. Also, when you want to deliver a parcel at the neighbors, if they have a
Exactly.
closed mind and a closed heart and a closed door, you have to find a way
But
to
You
open
open them.
I just knock on the window and then I smile and I show the package.
Like,
I have one for you.
for you.
I say every parcel, it's not for you. But then I only say it when they open the door. No, but that's really important. And what I learned, and I'm now doing this work for a long time, and I have different. I have my basic education, and then also not some different education. But it's all about the relationship. And it's all about feeling comfortable, being regulated. How well can you do that yourself?
Yeah.
How much do you need other people to get you regulated? And how comfortable are you? And I don't think that's psychology. It's just everywhere.
So, like, can you design a roadmap to be more confident for someone? Like, if I'm not confident enough, can I be confident if you
Follow
see a
step one.
tendency of like a child not being confident? Can you like make him more confident, like somehow, or like do something to make your child confident enough to go out and do something like that?
I think there are a lot of roadmaps. I think if you just go on the internet, you will find a lot of people that will tell you that they will help you and they will make you
More confident.
the most confident person who gets you just say out loud what you wish for. And I think you have a lot of roadmaps, but I think if it would work depends really on how this roadmap makes you feel at ease to say, oh yes, I want to try that.
Yeah.
Because I think if you are, it doesn't matter what they will offer you, if it feels okay for you and you feel dedicated enough and you will practice, because you always have to practice, it's not a quick fix. And if you feel determined enough to keep up, or if you can ask help if it's hard for you, I think there are a lot of same ingredients in all those plans.
Yeah.
And we have something we use with the small children. Maybe that's what you mean. In
Yeah,
the small
like
world, it's called the circle of security. You know it?
Like you start small and then
No.
Oh, it's bigger.
It is the adult sits at one end of the circle.
Yeah.
And then a child, and I think everybody needs someone that looks at them when they go out to explore, to do something new.
Oh yeah, how far they're willing to go away from their security.
Yeah, and they have to be close enough so that what they need from the adult here is that they look at them, they cheer them, and they enjoy, and they enjoy with them what they are doing.
Yeah.
And it's like the child that goes climbs on the swing, and it will look at you and see if are you still there, and you go like this. Yeah, it's really good, really good.
Yeah.
And then one moment the exploration is enough. And then they have to come back at the bottom of the circle to find the security.
Mm.
And then they need you to be, and it's also when you're an adult, if you have a rough day at work, you will also need someone that will say, oh, it was hard, was it? But you tried so hard and you did so well, and I'm
Yeah.
so proud of you. And then they will feel at ease again.
Mm.
And then they are able to go out on the exploration on the top of the circle again. And I think in small, that's what we all need.
Yeah.
You need someone to see you when you do some difficult things or things that are necessary for you to make more steps. And there has to be someone for you also when you feel not so good anymore and you need some attention.
I mean, we weren't created to be alone. Like,
No, there's
we
no
need-
such a thing as a baby. That's really
Yeah.
hard. When we are born, we should have been at least 3 months more inside. But you were not able to come out anymore then, so we didn't do that as human beings. But we are too small, too early when we are born.
Yeah.
So we are so dependent on the relationships around us.
yeah,
So we're definitely not meant to be alone.
never.
No.
No. Garth had a few interesting. We were obviously discussing,
I don't know what she's
He
talking about.
doesn't know where this is going.
I'm like-
He's getting nervous. No, we were just talking about.
You told her about the Caribbean, so now she can touch.
I didn't hear about it until he said it. Yeah, to be fair. No, but he had some interesting questions because he wondered, how would you see psychology maybe changing in the future? Because it's already changed so much since it became, a field of study. You see it changing?
Yeah, now I hope I see it changing.
Mm.
I started with the 19, 20, 21-year-old boys that all were criminal in a small or a bigger way.
Yeah.
And then I went down in age and down in how big the problems are. And what I see now is that what we all need is to feel comfortable. Comfortable enough to set boundaries, to explore the boundaries, to grow. And I think we just have a lot of different ways. We have the cognitieve gedragstherapeuten, we have the oplossingsgerichte, the solution-focused. But I think we all realize more and more that it's the relationship that matters. It's the story that what story do I tell you about how I am going to help you? In what way I'm going to help you? That the whole relationship and how we comfort each other working on the difficulties, that is becoming more and more important. And I hope that will be what will be even more the focus, and then we can stop saying, "Oh, my way is the better way."
Yeah.
Because that's more it's like you have the job description. If you do it like this, then this is good. But if you are not making contact with someone else, you can still do the best in the way you learned, in following a procedure. But if someone's not listening to you, or he's still with the open,
Closed mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a closed mind and a closed heart, then what are you working on?
Yeah.
So I think we are developing more and more to the importance of the relationship and the importance of comforting each other in looking at the difficulties and solving them.
That's like we discussed earlier with how business is becoming more integrated. Like even there, the shift is happening. Because I feel like as you were talking, I was just thinking about, how the landscape of psychology is looking. Is, you get people that specialize in this and this. And it's like you're saying, the way I do it is right. The way I do it is right. But going forward, it's more about seeing how they work together. That's going to take it
What
further.
works better for you is the...
Yeah, but it's also
is
what
the
you can
only-
learn from each other. It's not just standing in your own corner being like,
I'm the
I
best.
have the best opinion. I know what I'm talking about. You don't know anything. It's more of like, okay, what do you have to say? And I know something, building a bridge, to take it to the next.
And that's what we do in the working with the really small children and their families. We always look at what's the most necessary thing. If you don't have a house, then it's important that you find a house.
Yeah.
If you don't have any safe relationships, you have a house and you can eat, but your relationships are not safe, then we have to change that.
Yeah.
And then getting a really therapeutical thing, it's at the top of the pyramid. You
Yeah,
don't
like
do that.
Maslow's
Yeah.
Maslow's pyramid of
And
needs.
if I am at the top of the pyramid with the work I do,
Mm-hmm.
but if I have a mother that has a lot of stress filling in her tax forms, then I will fill in her tax forms with her. If that is necessary for the child and the parent now to have it better tomorrow,
Of course.
then we will just fill in the tax forms.
Yeah, you help where you can to
Of
make
course,
sure they get that
course.
security.
And if someone, two expats who live somewhere and they all only worked and then they get a baby and they still have all the boxes in the room where the baby should sleep, then I go over and take out the boxes and go to the IKEA and buy a bed for the baby.
Yeah.
And then if that will make them all feel more comfortable, then we just do that, right? I don't mind. And then we talk about some complex things, and then I can write it down like that, and then it's also okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We have to start
Sure.
somewhere.
Yes.
Put them in the right headspace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We never thought about psychologist like that. Oh, they would come and bring a new bed for you or something like that.
Yeah.
This is a like complete new
Yeah,
perspective.
for me it's a
Yeah.
really interesting because I studied psychology, just a bachelor of psychology for a year
Mm-hmm.
before I decided that's not for me. I have the same thing you did. I started something and I was like, no.
No.
And the biggest thing they said, you listen, but you do not give advice.
Yeah.
Like you never give advice, because then it's like you're telling them what to do,
Mm-hmm.
and you should never tell them what to do. But they never talked about the fact that you can offer a helping hand, not fixing a problem, but
Mhm.
you just offer, like, you make yourself available, like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I can see what you need, and I can help you if that's fine. I don't know. Just thought that was
And
interesting.
this is completely new. I didn't like. I never thought about a psychologist like that. I'm like, okay,
No, but
he
I
could
don't
be a
think
helping
every
hand.
psychologist will
No,
do that.
no.
No.
But that's another thing that was interesting that Garth brought up is, do you think everyone should see a psychologist at least once in their life?
Yeah, like they see me when I deliver a parcel, or they just visit
No.
me in the field.
Not like that.
I don't know. I think they would have to do it more in school. I think they all have. We do sports in school,
Yeah.
but it's never about mental health.
Mm-mm.
And I believe that there, I don't think it's something that, and the world is full of psychology.
It's true.
So I think we all see enough of that every day, and maybe we see more of it than we realize.
Mm.
Probably, I think in school they should be paying more attention to it, and maybe, yeah, it would be nice that before you start a relationship, that you have some, yeah, but why? No, just let it go. I think it should be available for everybody. That if I can may turn it around, I think it should be available for everyone if they would like to go to a psychologist, and that's a problem now already. So if you would like to go, then I think you should be able to go. In the Netherlands, for instance, going through therapy as a couple, you don't get the insurance doesn't pay for it. And it really surprises me, because if you have two parents that are not okay together, then it will cost the children also a lot.
Yeah, the implications of the family life is quite severe.
Yeah, we have some places in Holland where they have said, yes, we will. The government pays for it because they see the importance of it.
Yeah.
But I believe that we should make those things more easy, accessible, and also financial, easier for people to find help. But I don't think everybody should No.
Some people just doesn't need it.
No, and if you get a lot of you feel a lot of irritation when someone tells you you have to go to see a psychologist, then what is the relationship And what connection do you make? They will have definitely a close heart and
Yeah,
a
of
close
course.
hand. So why should they see me then? And then they can say, I went to such a horrible woman, because in no way I could have been any other woman than a horrible woman.
Yeah, they
Just
would not have
because
been
I'm a
open.
psychologist. And maybe if they meet me at the fietscourier, they will say, I met such a nice lady at the door yesterday. Yeah, so then it's only my psychologist suit that will tells them, oh, this is not okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are afraid. They think you can see right through them, or you are always thinking something about them, or trying to manipulate them. Yeah.
I remember when I was...
do, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay if
She
you don't
does.
want the parcel.
She does, but she doesn't let you know.
Please do not take the parcel.
No, I remember when I was telling people I'm studying psychology, and like, what am I thinking right now? It's like, I'm a psychologist, not a...
Yeah.
What do you think this is?
No, especially when I was still a student, and you are in the, I was in a bar in the evening, and you were talking to a guy, and you say, I study psychology. Oh, then you probably, and I said, oh, why,
Yeah.
how, no.
No.
Good conversation starter though.
Yeah.
Always.
No, you
Always
say that at
works
the
it.
end of the conversation after they've bared their soul to you. And be like, I'm studying
I'm
psychology. And
psychologist.
oops.
I knew all that already. Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
No, but I do think you have a lot of people that are coach now, or
Coaching, yeah.
Yeah, but I do like being a psychologist. You have to do some reflecting and supervision, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that that is really important.
Of course.
And you can, everyone can say, I think I'm a coach, but you don't have all the, you don't have that part of knowing yourself, or knowing what the work on the interaction in the relationship may do to you. So I do believe that that will be important. Not that everybody sees a psychologist, but if you see someone, if you want to talk to someone, find the right person.
Yeah. Because the thing is with those, if what's nice and comforting about psychologists is there's always a sense of accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's someone overseeing that, you know, you're doing it for the right reasons, and you're still, like you said, you're reflecting on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just you saying what you think is best or how you see the situation. You have things that back you up.
Because what you just said, and not giving advice, I became a psychologist because I want to help people. But I learned that the way I would like to help is not always the way that they need the help.
Yeah.
And sometimes not helping is better than giving all kinds of advices. So I don't say every coach is not able to reflect on themselves and seeing what the other needs to be helped in a right way, or that every psychologist can do that. But that is really more important, that you find someone that wants to help you for what you need, and not wants to help you for what they need.
Yeah, that's true. It's more about facilitating,
Yeah.
you know, going to the right direction.
Yeah.
But they need to find it for themselves. Or like, it's a journey they have to take.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you can do for someone.
No, you wish. And
Yeah.
sometimes the people have so many problems that you wish you just could help them.
It would make it a lot easier.
But do you regularly say, like, if you think like something I can't help with, do you really say it, or sorry, I can't help you with that?
I don't understand the question.
Like, if someone comes up with a problem with you, and you think, oh, I never thought about it, I never like learned about it, or something like that. I guess there would be some problems like that as a psychologist.
Something you don't know how to solve, how would you approach that?
Maybe I will just listen just so long until I hear something that I do know. No, but if it's really out of my league and I don't know, and they have a really specific question, then we will try and find together someone that they can help. Yes.
Like referring them to someone
Absolutely.
that will.
Yeah, that's also a part of being good at work, is taking responsibility for the things you don't know.
Yeah, you need to know when to hand it over to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's important.
So I feel like sometimes, I mean, it's so like a completely different area, but in like entrepreneurship, when you have a business idea, call it your darling, and sometimes you have to kill your darling because you have to be able to put it aside.
Yeah, you should not get into a really narrow-minded.
You like to do everything on your own, but that's not the best idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's when you are working the same procedure every time, and you have some method you think is really good, then I think it could be difficult that you would want to put every problem into your mindset or the way you work. And that's probably why we look at all those different things that surround the child, are within the child and around, and the bigger situation around, to get a full we have to see what all is happening, and we don't say, oh, we work in this or that way, and then you just have to fit in and we do it like that.
Yeah, it's
always different.
It's not a cookie cutter, otherwise you're gonna miss a lot of what's there. What do you think, Gaurav? What are your thoughts right now? How are you feeling?
I'm processing everything.
Are you
so
comfortable?
I am actually comfortable. I'm just thinking a lot now. I never thought about these things that
you're still
because she studies psychology. I don't study psychology, but I'm like, okay, we talk a lot. This is because we are friends as well. So she tells me a lot of things, but yeah, like how you approaches it, that is different than how she is being taught. So I guess
it's interesting to get that different perspective than what you're
like
used to.
This is how a professional setting looks like. If you are like in a professionally way there, and that's why we wanted to talk to someone who's actually working in a field and how it's.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, basically.
That's what he's trying to say.
Maybe my
I'm learning.
Think,
she's learning.
What is she talking about?
I'm forever a student.
Yeah, but I'm also forever a student.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
I'm looking for a new, some new things to learn already.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
I read a lot, and teaching also. I also learn a lot from teaching. And I believe that the things I do in are always the same. If I'm a psychologist or I'm at the Fitz career or if I'm teaching, it's always important for me that the relationship is good. And I will always, not always, sometimes I do exactly the opposite, because I enjoy that also. But my goal will always be that everybody feels comfortable enough to do their best. And it doesn't matter where I am. If I'm working, I want to get the most out of it. And it probably, it will mean that I have to take care of everybody, that everybody feels good enough, comfortable
around
enough. And I know you probably don't see me always like that, because I can also do the opposite, say just the wrong things that make everybody more
proactive.
Yeah, no, you call it proactive. That sounds nice. Yes, but that is my first goal, is to make sure that everybody's okay, because then you can talk to each other with an open heart and an open mind, and I do believe we get the most out of everything then.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that. This has been such a nice conversation.
Really, like, I don't know how long was it.
A while. But I do want to get it to a closing now, because it's going to get really long. We can keep going for a while.
You have to go on a bike tonight.
Oh, yeah. I still need to go on a bike.
Yeah. So, anyway, first of all, I want to say thank you to both of you for being here. This has been so much fun. I really enjoyed this conversation. And I would love to have you as a guest lecturer here. Like, I would think all of us would really enjoy that in my class. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, anytime. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, nothing. Just it was really nice to have this. Yeah.
So this is all confidential,
overwhelmed
right?
now.
All confidential.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
Thanks
Thank
for
Yeah.
saying yes.
It took a while, but
It took a while.
I said yes a month.
have to
2
chase
months
her.
to organize this.
I was always like, did you see the mail? Yeah.
Yeah,
She was busy, and now,
of
yeah.
course.
no,
But
I'm
anyway.
not busy anymore. No.
Yeah.
That's why we invited you for the guest lecturer.
Heel goed.
Yeah.
You have more dates for us?
But okay, I just want to do the.
Yeah.
So, thank you to everyone that tuned in. I hope you got as much out of this conversation that we did. And then I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode.
Harlem campus students incarcerated.
All right, folks, that is it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Go check out our Instagram and YouTube if you would like to keep up with what is happening at Harlem campus. But until next time, stay safe, and we will see you back at the study room.